Now back in the day, this old machine was owned by, she's got a little flat here. Let's open a hatch. This is Oklahoma in the summertime, so I'm probably gonna get attacked by bees and whatnot. Tour bus thing, you know, just kind of wonder if these walls could talk. Okay, so this is the only good battery, and it's a small one. Okay, so I got some penetrating oil. I'm gonna just squirt right in here, the exhaust side of that turbo. I have me a turbo shutter downer. I guess I'll just send it. Well, good morning, YouTubers, or nighttime, or whatever it is, pooping time, whatever you might be doing. Got an interesting one over the next couple of days. I've been hired to see if I can get a 1982 Silver Eagle Model 10 tour bus running. Has a, I think, a 6V92 Detroit in it that was overhauled probably, I guess, 10-15 years ago. The thing's been parked for probably 8 or 9 years, maybe a little longer than that. It was running good when it was parked. Has an automatic transmission. This old machine was owned by a Southern rock star, and I'll tell you who that was when we go there to look at it. My first mission is going to be to, you know, familiarize myself a tiny bit with it. I'm not super familiar with any kind of a tour bus, nor the Detroit engines for that matter. So you hardcore diesel mechanics are going to be making fun of me, but that's okay. I enjoy a little variety, and getting paid to do this, so it ain't far from the house. So I'll go down there and do a little bit of investigating and see what we find. Give you a little tour of it first. Well, this is her. She's for sale. Guy wants to buy it, but he wants to do a pre-purchase inspection. It's being sold as is. She's been there a minute, but we're gonna go ahead and pop the hood, and I don't know if you call that a hatch or a hood, rear hatch, whatever. We're gonna pop it open and see what it's gonna take to get this thing running, see if we can find the batteries. Give you a real quick walk around and see what we get into. Mainly today, I just want to find out if we got batteries, what we're missing. We'll start this tour right here on the right rear. She's a lowrider. Now back in the day, this old machine was owned by Neil Young. They toured around, I don't know for how long or anything like that, but it's an 82, so not sure when his peak popularity was. I'm no rock expert. She's got a little flat here. A couple of used tires there. I'm not sure what's supposed to go on here. These tires that are on it look better than that, but she's a low rider sitting on the ground. Now this thing toured all over the country. It was all up in Canada with its current owner. He toured with, I think, Tanya Tucker or somebody like that, some country star. Got a little weedage growing. Well, welcome aboard. She smells a little bit like, I don't know, dirt, dirty underwear, maybe a little mold. It's not too unpleasant. Very nice paneling floors. Appears to at some point in time had a little moisture in it. Could have just been humidity. Tour bus thing, you know, Just kind of wonder if these walls could talk. Oh, coffee pot. That just made this thing worth about 100 grand more. Whew, it's getting hot in here already. Doc Holiday. Oh, it's dark. Can't hardly see nothing. That's a bunk. That's a bunk. Closet. We get this thing running. Give you a better tour. Looks like there's a critter living in here. Got a little poopy. Ooh, look at this high-tech unit. The floors are definitely a little warped. This laminate flooring doesn't hold up to moisture well. So what we got is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like 9 bunks. But y'all don't care nothing about what's in here. Let's move on up to the engine bay. See what we find out there. Ooh, how'd that happen? Got to step down here into the driver's compartment. It's automatic trans. Little roach poop. No, nothing out of the ordinary. The more roaches you have, the better they run. Okay, supposedly there's keys in this thing. I don't even see where the keys would go. I'll worry about that later. Well, let's go look under the hood. Trunk, whatever it is. Let's open the hatch. This is Oklahoma in the summertime, so I'm probably going to get attacked by bees and whatnot. Let's see. Oh, there's batteries right there. I guess we got a prop rod here. Let me prop this up. Well, got her opened up. Here's the batteries. Not quite sure how you get to them. It looks like there's 3 of them. Maybe this top piece comes out. Looks like that top piece probably comes out. I don't know, maybe not. They're on a slide out tray. Don't look like they're on a slide out tray. Looks like you gotta pull that cover off there to get to them. It's the old Detroit. Got some rust in here. The inner structure is in pretty bad shape, floors and stuff. It would need a fair amount of money, you know, to get that structure rebuilt. I mean, that doesn't affect how it runs and stuff. Big old Cummins rebuild starter. Maybe with a Cummins starter on it, it won't leak as bad. The good thing here is that this thing was parked, driven to this spot and parked, and nothing has been pulled off of it. So, and it sounds like there's a critter in there, so I'm not quite sure I want to pull the batteries out. Let's come over here. The sun isn't helping us. Okay, here we've got the turbocharger. The neck is off of it, laying right there. It's got dusty rust in it. Hopefully this turbo is not seized. It's not. Got the electric panel. Oh, that rusted off. The neck rusted off and just fell down there. Got main grounds. It's like our alternators right there. This strange belt drive system. Got a big old PTO drive. I don't know what for. How hot do you think this cable got? Look at that. That is some heat right there. I don't know how you do that. Maybe she didn't want to start and it just got cranked on. Got filters. Mud dauber nest. Hopefully there's not much damage from critters. In all likelihood it should not be seized up. It hasn't been parked very long. Like we got a dead man switch there, kills batteries. I'm gonna set the tripod up and see if we got any voltage on the batteries. Well, I got my electric meter here. I'm gonna see if she's got any voltages. I'm highly skeptical about these batteries. Supposedly they're pretty new, but they look pretty old. They have 3.1 volts. So, what do we want to do? Do we want to pull them out, put them on a charge? Probably the best bet is just to pull them out of there, put them on a charge. Reckon that's what I'll do. I'll just have to make sure I label all the battery posts real good. Pull them out one at a time. It's gonna be a turd to get back in there to get them other ones. So I'm gonna very carefully get in here and try to get these battery posts loose. That one's already kind of loose. It's a very bad spot to put batteries, in my humble opinion. Let's see. Don't guess I necessarily have to get all of them out. I could pull 2 of them out, put them on the charge, and then put a charger on the last one where it sits. Bees are already out flying around. I don't have any tape with me to tape them up. Y'all gonna have to move, you're right in the way. The guy that owns the place will probably come out here shortly and want to watch and talk, probably. Okay, I see some random wires in here that I don't want to touch what they shouldn't. Okay, I think I can get this one out. Oh, it's been in here for a minute. She's wedged. Man. Just barely enough room maybe to squeeze it out this hole. Maybe it goes that way. Probably goes that way. Yeah. I don't want the positives and negatives to touch. Ah, holy cow. Well, as any blind man could see, got the batteries out. Wasn't actually too bad. None of the cables seem to be cooked on this end anyways. Batteries actually don't look that bad, other than the rat nests on top of there. For 5 of them, I'm not sure. Could have been a mouse variety. But I'm gonna take those home, see if they'll take a charge. They probably will, like I said, if they got volts still on them after all these years. I'm gonna crawl in there and see if there's a way to try to breaker bar that engine over. Not likely, but I'm gonna check. And I'll probably throw some oil or whatever on the turbocharger inlet there. See if it'll loosen up. It just feels just a little bit, but I think it's just dirt. I really don't want the motor to eat anything like that, so I might bring my shop back down before I try to start it. It's getting hot. I'm not a hot guy, I'm a Yankee. So, haven't made the adjustment yet to the Oklahoma climate, and I've been here for 25 years last July. Don't guess it's gonna get adjusted. What have I got myself into? So it would be pretty easy with a big breaker bar to get on here and spin this output on the crank or the PTO. Well, it's not really a PTO, I guess. It's just like a 90-degree, sort of like a transaxle. There's no disconnect in it. It's a mechanical linkage, so that side of it drives the belt drive for like the alternator, and I imagine cooling fans. Yeah, radiators over there. And this one doesn't drive anything. Could have potentially had, who knows, generator. I don't know. Let's check the oil. My only concern is that water got in it, but I don't. Yeah, it could have. I mean, if it got water in it, it would drain right straight into the cylinder heads. Let's see. Probably can't see that. Looks like it's right where it's supposed to be. I'm not gonna lick it. Derek does that on Five Script Garage, one of my favorite other shows, but I find myself kind of on accident copying some of the stuff he does. Just, it's not on purpose. He's just so funny. I mean, you watch enough of him and it just rubs off on you. So it looks like we're good on oil. At least if there was water in it, it didn't get right into the crankcase. There's an oil fill. It's not a twist off. Really don't even smell like oil. He said it doesn't have many hours on it. I reckon my next step is going to be to charge the batteries and find a key for this thing. Wouldn't even know where to start with hot wiring it. I'm sure you can do it, but probably just a matter of finding whatever probably has a fuel shut off solenoid, cranking the fuel on some way or another, and shooting voltage to the glow plugs or whatever. I'm purely talking out my butt. I have no idea what I'm talking about on this old Detroit. But I shouldn't need to do any of that. It should start right up. Well, it's day 2 of this little revival operation. The 3 batteries that are in it, I had them on the charge all night. Best volts I could get out of any of the 3 was 7.7. So that's barely past halfway to 12. So what I've got is a brand new battery of mine that I'm going to replace one of those with. So I'll have 1/3 good battery. Instead of jumper cables, in the trusty F-150 will basically give me 2.5 good batteries. So hopefully that'll be enough to jump it. If not, I'll snatch a couple of batteries out of something else. Well, let's see if I can pop a stitch here. Dude, it's heavy. Okay. Not what I'd consider to be a ideal way of putting batteries in something. But, okay, so I think the tactic here, put the second battery in, make the connections, and push those 2 back as a unit. Oh gosh. So this is the only good battery, and it's a small one. But it's a good battery. Okay, so I've got to hook up the jumper cables, not the jumper cables, the tie-in cables, and hook the main power cables up. Then I'll flip the dead man switch there and see if anything catches on fire. Well, batteries are in. I'm gonna come around here to this master switch and flip it and see if anything catches on fire. I hope it don't, because I got a little bitty fire extinguisher. See how fast I can disconnect the battery. I don't hear nothing. Oh, I found out that the way this exhaust is routed, it blows out the bottom, so there's virtually no chance that water got in the engine. So that makes me feel better. Got a sneeze. Lordy, that sneeze about blew my brains out of my nose. Sounds like another one's coming. I blew a bunch of rust dust out of the end of that turbo and it got right in my nose. False alarm. right, so we have no key. We just have an on-off button. So I thought for a second that this was the main ignition panel, but this is just for the generator, which is good because the key is busted off in it and I can't turn it. But that's the generator. Main switch is here. Apparently the odometer doesn't work. That or they just parked it at a perfect time. Headlights show that they're on the dash, but I don't see where no light switch is. Anyways, this is our voltmeter gauge, and when I flip the switch, the master switch, we got shows like, what would that be, 9 volts, which would be about right. So oil pressure gauge moves. I don't notice the temperature gauge does, but there's also a transmission temperature gauge, which doesn't matter right now. So I'm gonna go back there and squirt a little penetrating oil in the turbo, spin that for a few minutes, and then we'll go ahead and hook my truck up with the jumper cables. Actually, for this stage we won't. I just want to see if the motor will spin. I won't be able to hear it over my truck running. So hang on, we'll go back to the back. Okay, so I got some penetrating oil. I'm gonna just squirt right in here, the exhaust side of that turbo. Just because I know it's been open. There's no nest or anything in there. Make sure it, with a tiny bit of looby-dooby, it's not got any resistance in it. Also need to pull this inlet off the turbo. Doesn't really matter if I pull this one or that one. Probably just try to pull this off. I need to have a way to smother the turbo if she tries to run away on me, which is possible. Not likely, but possible. If you ain't ready for something when they run away, you got a big problem. A real big problem. Like Nancy Kerrigan on the back alley. Okay. Okay, that was easy. Let's see, I don't see anything in there. I wish this thing was at the shop where I had a way to clean all this out. It's not really dirty though. I have me a turbo shutter downer and another turbo shutter downer. Hopefully kill the air if she tries to run away. Got some starting fluid. We need to crawl back in there and make sure that there's nothing, no nests or anything in the cooling fan. It'll cause a problem. So let's do that real quick. What do you say? All right, fellers. Ain't no way I'm gonna be able to stick my head in there, so you guys are gonna be my eyes. Let me know if you see anything. Let's see, that's the radiator. I'm gonna have to go back and look at this. I can't see nothing in there. I can't spin that, dude. Let's get a better view here, maybe. Got a mud dauber nest, which I cannot reach. Guess that'll just have to come off on its own. Another one there. Oh, got that one right there is a live one. Got some little babies in it. I'm gonna get a screwdriver and go ahead and knock some of them off. Ain't no room to get back in there. Oh well, I'll try to get in there and knock them nests out of there. Well, I got the old F-150 hooked up. So we got 2 good batteries, an alternator, and 2 bad batteries. So I'm gonna flip the ignition switch and see what voltage we got now. That's almost 12. I'm gonna let her run for a few minutes, just sitting there with a truck on it, and then we'll come over here and Give that button a whack. I'm gonna run up there and just bump that starter button. Hopefully that starter don't stick. Need you to tell me if that spins. And well, as you saw, activating the start button did nothing. So I need to troubleshoot the starter circuit. This little wire here comes up, goes into this harness up here, and goes I don't know where. I would assume to the front or back to a relay. Regardless, I'm gonna have to track that down, so I'll bring you back when I get that done. Well, here's the dealio. Hit the key, it doesn't do anything. I've checked on the huge cable positive on the battery, and it does have 13.6 volts. So I suspect that that little white wire that comes up in the center of your shot runs in the wiring harness, comes up here, winds up in here somewhere. Nothing in here is labeled, but I suspect one of these solenoids has stuck, or potentially a relay, but most likely a solenoid. Also, unfortunately, this exhaust has been leaking for a long period of time, so we've got 850 black wires, so, and black relays, and not generally what you want to see when you're trying to do a revival of sorts. So what do? I can very easily jump the starter there, either with a jumper wire, jumper cables, or needle nose or something. But my concern is, first off, if she starts, can I shut it back down with if the on switch don't work, will the off switch work? That I don't know. I think that the shutdown solenoid assembly for this engine is on right here, but I'm not positive. So, kind of unsure about what I want to do next. What's your opinion? I think I might just bump that starter and with the master switch off and just see if it spins the starter. Can at least eliminate that. Well, what I've done is I've got the master switch on. I got the switch on the dash in there off. So I got this crappy pair of jumper cables I found in here. I got one wire clamped on the main positive cable, and I clamped this pair of vice grips on the small ignition post. So if these make a good enough contact, I'm going to see if that starter will spin. That definitely spins. We've got good compression. I'll give her that. Well, I don't really want to do it this way, but I guess I'm going to start it, and this is a fairly fresh overhaul, so I probably need to Google fuel shutoff on these machines before I go ahead and try to light it off, but that'll work for a start method. I reckon I can go back up in there in the interior and hit that start button again, see if it freed up a solenoid or something, shooting voltage through it. I'll bring you back. Well, running out of time today to mess with this. I know the starter will bump over. It looks like it has air operated fuel shutoffs. It's got a on and a off, which I'm just guessing. I don't actually know that, but I can't find a traditional, one wire fuel shutoff solenoid. So I guess if the off button doesn't work, we'll just have to shut it off by other means. Maybe stuffing the turbo with my catalog there. I don't particularly like to do something that way, but I need to know if the thing will run. It's unlikely that it'll run away because it was parked, in the idle position. So unless it just developed a catastrophic oil leak somewhere, it's unlikely that it would try to run away. So I'm gonna see if it'll start. Key up there is already on. I don't know if that switch, not working or having a problem up there is gonna prevent the motor from getting fuel. So I have not shot any ether to it. I'm just going to crank it, just get some oil pressure in it. The fuel system is still primed. It might just light off, but key's hot up there, so I guess I'll just send it. Hey, it lit first try. That's nuts. So I don't know if the fuel shut-off valve shut it off or just lost prime or what, but I'll feed it the onions again and see what she does. Make sure this thing has oil pressure. She does. Boy, that thing lit off good. Don't know if we're building any air. Yeah, we're building air pretty quick. So it appears everything's operational up here. Can't believe she started that good. No, shut herself off. At least that's something I don't got to worry about doing. I was about to kill it anyways. Alright, so what I think happened is reason for the shutdown. I think she lost her prime. Fuel gauge says it has fuel in it, but I don't know that. So either we got a fuel shutoff problem, or we just lost the prime. Plugged filters, who knows? She's been setting, to my knowledge, since about 2013 or 2015. It acted like it just fuel went off. And you crank on it, like I said, I don't have good batteries, so it should have at least 3 deep cycled batteries in it. And right now it's got 2 completely dead ones, 1 good one, and a truck with a alternator charging it. So I give it just a little sniff of ether. It's a real small one. It'll catch for a second, but it won't pick up. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm not going to ether it to death into a new motor, so I'm not the kind of guy to just ether it till it runs. Probably one more. See what I mean? She runs just for a second until she's out of the ethers, and it's done. So I'll hit it one more time, just maybe it'll catch off, but I don't even got the batteries, and I don't want to get the cables hot. Somebody's got that one hotter than firecracker before. And the original intention of my little visit here was to make sure that it runs. it did. So I'll hit it once more, and if she don't light off, we'll just call her dead there, until the owner determines, you know, A, if he's selling it to this guy coming to look at it, or B, he wants to spend more money on it. But so we do know now that the engine does run, doesn't have any death rattles or anything. So let's hit it one more time. Well, fellas, we did what we could in the time we had, but looks like she's gonna take a little more work before we can do like the old George Jones song and be the Silver Eagle just sailing through the night, or in this case, Poopy Eagle. Ugh. Anyways, maybe we'll get to come back and work on it. Maybe we won't. It'd be kind of fun. Maybe if it cooled off a little bit. It's really hot, especially in here. Like I said the other day, it kind of smells like undies and rock and roll tour bus. As always, thanks for joining me on this adventure. Would have liked to see if it would run longer than that and drive, but we don't have the batteries. We're sitting on a flat. But we do know the engine started. She built there fast. She had 60, probably 65 psi in 2 minutes. So know the air system's gonna work. Hasn't bled off yet, so we'll talk to the owner, see what he wants to do. Got a guy coming to look at it, I think tomorrow or Monday. Today's Friday. Maybe the guy will take it like it is. Maybe he wants to spend more money on it. Maybe he don't want nothing to do with it. But I appreciate you guys joining me. Please like, share, and subscribe if you hadn't already, and at some point in time we'll do some more fun stuff. I gotta take my battery back out.